These are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, here we go. This is a reaction I've been trying to do for like a week or so. Finally get into it, right? Well, this particular topic, to be honest with you, was a topic that I picked up from a conversation I was having on Sahil's channel, and I think they're gonna have that topic again later. But I thought it was some interesting insights, and it was about this gentleman, which I was on his platform, Womenosphere. Shout out to Womenosphere versus Menosphere. And his suggestion was that if you're about to be married as a woman, you need to drop all your single friends. You need to drop all your single friends. So there's some part of this conversation that I thought fit into that, and then I'll come back. Let's just react to this video, and then I'll come back. I'll talk about if women should drop their single friends when they're about to get married. Like, I had a question for him after he said that, and I'm going to come up with that question here in a second. And I'm still waiting for the answer from him, but I'll talk about it here, right? So let's get started.
I can trust on the planet. Really?
Okay, then say that. Okay, then so say that. So you don't know how to trust your partner, then say that. That's what
If you telling me your
So
partner's the only
what they're talking about is Kayla is saying, I trust my mother, so I can share some things about my marriage with her, right? And Six has a good point here that you should be sharing everything with your spouse, right? Now, to a lot of young ladies, this seems unrealistic, but sometimes if they don't fall flat on their face, they're not going to learn, right? For those of us that have been doing this for a while, we know that it's an absolutely no-no. You don't take issues about your marriage to your parents. Your parents will single-handedly destroy your marriage without knowing that's what they're doing. It's not deliberate. It's not intentional. It's just the way favoritism and, them taking sides or actively not trying to take sides, the default bias that comes into that kind of situation. Even when they're actively not trying to take your side, it still comes off as taking sides, right? This is why we say don't do it. And when we say don't do it, we're speaking from experience because we've done it, and it always 100% of the time backfires. See, when you move on from your issues, your parents and your friends, they don't move on. You move on, but they have the power to influence you later when other events happen to remind you that, remember he did this, and you're already forgotten, but they will remind you, right? So bad idea altogether. So I'm with Six on this one, but Kayla is making a point that's not too off,
in your
You
life.
don't trust your partner,
You don't
say
trust
that. You trust
nobody
your
else.
mama more.
You don't trust nobody else but
You
your
should have
partner.
said that from the beginning then.
You don't trust nobody else but your partner. That's the only person.
Your partner
Not
should
another
be the
person
number
that you
one
don't
person
trust.
that you trust. You are not sleeping with your mama every night, ma'am.
So what does that have to do
Your
with
mama
trusting
is
your
not
mom?
in the in and
Just
outs of
because
your
I have a
relationship.
man, that means I don't
You
trust
talk
my
about
mama
your
all of a
mama is
sudden?
the one
So
that
nobody's saying you don't trust your mom. It's a little bit deeper than common sense. I keep telling people that common sense is a terrible guide to life. Common sense says that, of course, you really trust your mom, right? But once you've had some experience in life, you realize that has nothing to do with trusting your mom. It's zero. There's no correlation between the word of wisdom that you should not take your marriage issues to your parents and common sense. It's no correlation, because I guarantee you 100% of the time that your common sense is common, right? Everybody else thinks that same way until they fall flat on their face, right? And that's what Six is trying to say here. But something that people don't talk about in this question is there's a healthy balance. You also don't want to put too much weight on the idea of partnership between you and your husband. There is such a thing as too much weight. Yes, there is such a thing as you can absolutely bastardize everything I just said in the last 2 minutes to the point where you're clingy and you don't have your own individualism, and you're going to be taken for granted, right? So you need a healthy balance where you have a solid relationship with your mother, but just not issues that has to do with your husband and you intimate issue between you and your husband and your family, you absolutely should never be taking that to your mother. I don't care how much you trust her, because that's not relevant. It's precisely because you trust her. It's precisely because she will actively try to protect you, even if that means to destroy your relationship, without her necessarily trying to do that. You see, so it's I don't know, there are real life examples that I will start showcasing here very soon. And then you will see how this kind of things play out. People don't mean any harm. That's why I say intentions are overrated. They don't intend to destroy, but they effectively destroy, right? Just because you haven't heard things like this before, right? So Kayla, I understand where she's coming from. I trust my mama, but also she's not married. So maybe she's speaking from a place of lack of experience. But there's actually, to be fair to her, there are people that are married that would argue this until they die. Right? And they will destroy their relationship. Sometimes they destroy the relationship internally, meaning they stay in it, but they're suffering, right? Because they refuse to really adhere to some of this wisdom, right, that we're talking about right now. But it's very, very simple. It's precisely because you trust her. It's because she also, remember, she trusts you. So she hasn't really seen you in a space of romance. So every time you act out of character, the only way that your husband can see, she doesn't get to see that. So even if your husband is narrating, is telling her, this happened to me, she's telling her, like, this is what she did, this is what she did, right? She can't relate because she hasn't seen you in that light. So she will actively see your husband as potentially a liar, right? Because she's never seen you that way. She's never seen you out of your character. I have friends going through that right now, where situations where they don't recognize her. Her family doesn't recognize her because she's showing a different behavior they had not seen in 30 years of her life, right? This is how it works. It will change you, right? Because it's you're growing, and it's a forced kind of growth, right? And that's what they did. Nobody talks about the nuances. It's the same thing when you ask somebody that just got married to drop all of our single friends. So I asked the gentleman, AR from Women Sphere, I asked him, I said, what is the downside of doing that? Okay, what is the upside? I guess the upside is that you just focus on the marriage. Your marriage is for life. You should just stay with your husband. I'm guessing, because I really haven't gotten the answer, and I don't want to speak for him. I'm hoping I'll get that answer this coming weekend, right? Then I asked, what's the downside of asking your wife to drop all of our single friends? Then the other question that I have is that, why are you with a person that you're not really cool with their single friends, and you were with them, you stayed with them, you married them, and then once you get married, you're asking them to dump their friends? When you call someone a friend, do you know what that means? That means if they haven't really offended you, you are about to create a bunch of resentment by asking them to drop their friends. Oh no, but you should just be focused on, oh yeah, Security Boss was there too. But I kind of trust Security Boss, but I don't think she was able to hear the full context of what that guy was saying. And I would be interested in hearing the rest of the conversation, right? When you just face your marriage, that's it. Remember, we're not talking about people that never had friends, because Security Boss fell in the category, it's a lady content creator, she fell in the category of somebody who didn't have friends anyway, so she doesn't count. We're talking about somebody that had friends. Yes, they are single, right? But you want them to just basically let go of all those friends just because they are married. And this is not what they want to see. If they want to do that, that's perfectly fine, because then there's nothing to talk about, right? But if you're setting this as some kind of rules or principle, and especially if they're not aware you're about to make, because some people don't say it, like, I would like you to drop all your friends. People just don't come to the table and say, I would like you to drop all your friends. If you said that, there's a good chance they'll say, no, I'm not going to do that, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? It just doesn't make any sense, right? But if they did, that means they're probably pandering to that, and they thought they could do it. But when it's actually time to do that, is there a guarantee they will be able to do that? Now, if they're not able to do that in a timely manner, is that going to create friction between you and your wife? What are the downsides of asking your wife, your brand new wife, to drop all of her single friends, right? Now, here's another part that we're forgetting. Do you forget that lifestyles will actually naturally change if you just relax? As a man, if you just relax, like, it's not that deep, like, relax, like, flow with it, right? Yeah, goddamn it, flow with it, right? Like, leverage the ocean trend in your favor. Naturally, she's gonna be spending the most time with you. She's not gonna have the same lifestyle as them. If you're just patient, these people are gonna drop off like dead flies anyway, right? But if you don't wait, if you're not patient, you're gonna force her into this principle. She's probably actively trying to make you happy too, but eventually some events are going to happen in that marriage and she will need a little shoulder to cry on besides yours. Yes, I know you think, oh, it should be yours. Nah, you're full of shit, okay? Beside yours, and she won't have an outlet. She's going to resent you. These are the possibilities. It doesn't have to be, but these are the possibilities in real life. How do I know? Because I've been that guy. I've been that guy who wasn't too comfortable with friends around. I didn't even say they should go away. It's just that my attitude showed and it became something else. And then you could turn around and say, hey, some of you think, oh, because I had a Nigerian wife, I don't go through the same thing. I went through the same shit. So yeah, but I know I can't convince you. I get it. Okay, I went through the same shit, and I had to learn some of these things the hard way. And eventually, I had to see these things from afar. Patience is powerful. Relax. Why are you trying to get rid of the friends so quick? They're going to drop off like dead flies anyway, because the lifestyles don't fit. It doesn't fit, right? And if your focus should to make sure that she feels safer running to you, because women don't like each other like that a lot of times anyway, right? Especially if their lifestyles don't fit. But if you knew that, you would just relax and not try to force everything. Like, come on, gentlemen, you have to relax. It's 2022. It's really not 1960. You can't be swimming against the trend of the ocean. You will drown yourself.